Dear all, first of all, I want to greet you all and I'll introduce myself. My name is Denis Pavela and I speak on behalf of Traffic Safety Association, Udruga Sigurnost u prometu. Most of you will ask yourself at the very beginning, what does the Traffic Safety Association have to do with today's topic of the conference? The answer is very simple. Young people die in traffic accidents. Some people remain severely disabled, and there are great material damages to the properties in billions. It is the same with narcotics. Young people die, permanently disabled, etc. When we talk about young people who lose their lives, it's not just one life, it's much more. It is a whole series of future generation. When a young person remains disabled and permanently damaged to the consumption of narcotics, not only that person suffers, the whole family that cares for that person suffers. Therefore, the link is very clear. If you like working with young people and working in various forms of prevention of what young people are at risk in that time, especially if it happens in your city, in your neighborhood, then you cannot remain immune. There is an obligation to do something. That's how I personally act and how my colleagues from the association act. And from there comes an excellent cooperation with the community susret, zajednica susret. The issue of addiction to illegal drugs has long been recognized as a global phenomenon. That is the area of dealing with various institutions in different countries, including our association for the past 4 years. According to the 2016 World Drug Report, 29 million people are addicted to illegal drugs. Related to the European context, according to the EMCDDA report for 2017, drug use in Europe today covers a wider range of substances than in the past. Polydrug use is common among drug users, and individual patterns of use range from one-time experimental to common and addictive, which can be said for the area of Croatia and local communities. What is increasingly mentioned in the context of drug abuse are new psychoactive substances. Like everyone who deals with prevention and work with young people, we were interested in everything related to new drugs. The term new doesn't not only refer to new forms, as many of them, such as methadone, have known since 40 years ago. But the term new also refers to the fact that they recently became available, widespread, and recognized in a legal drug market. We are aware that the emergence of new psychoactive substance has also been recorded in Croatia, but we consider that there is still a lack of research to deal with users of such drugs to develop guidelines for further research in the field of prevention and treatment of such persons. Monitoring, informing, and raising consciousness of risk are necessary in every state to bring this problem under control. New psychoactive substances have become a global problem, as evidenced in reports of the emergence one or more new psychoactive substances in more than 100 and 10 countries. All that defined as substance designed to replicate the effects of traditional illicit drugs such as cocaine, ecstasy, amphetamines, and cannabis. It has been suggested that these imitations are significantly more potent than the effects of classic drugs. The internet plays an important role in supplying the population with new psychoactive substance, and sending these same substance by mail is recognized as one of the main modes of distribution. And also the internet is a challenging distribution channel because it is simple, anonymous, and low-risky way to supply new psychoactive substance, and offers supplies a variety of options. Websites involved in the trade trafficking of new psychoactive substance may be in countries that are different of those where the products are supplied. And difference in laws in different countries make the purchase process itself very challenging to prove and prosecute. The increasing emergency of new ones and the difficulty of adapting to existing new psychoactive substances are creating devastating effects on users worldwide. These traits become so advanced that it has the potential to constantly avoid the law, causing danger, addicting, and in some cases the death of users. What is visible in here is that the most common identified group of consumers based on age are young people aged 15 to 30 years. Most consumers are members of secondary or higher education, and the main factors that make new psychoactive substances so popular are their availability, high level or purity of product, and portrayed legality. Based on all of above, as association, we have launched a different number of activities aimed at preventing the reduction of the number of existing consumers and creating new ones. Especially here we are talking about new drugs in addition to all. The activities were carried out a few years ago. We designed the project Stop Drugs, I Choose a Life, which aims to prevent risky behaviors and addiction of young people. This project has been implemented 4 years ago and is implemented through the year, mostly during the International Month of Addiction. We strive for these forums to be interactive between the speaker and the audience. What we want to emphasize are two things. We are trying to have as many visitors as possible on those forums, and we have accumulated that we always have about 500 of them, who are mostly high school children and university students who are risk group. What we also do is that we bring people formerly addicted to both sides, both hard drugs and these new drugs, to the above mentioned forums as speakers. Our goal is to create empathy in the listeners and advise them to possible drugs used through the life stories of these people who have gone through the hell of life. It's their story to the listeners. The most important thing is that this story reaches as many listeners as possible, who will later share it among their peers in school, universities, or household members under the shock of these stories. And if we had heard in above mentioned forums is retold 3 days after its compilation, we have achieved a lot because this is a systematic non-campaign prevention. We also managed to organize big debates, conflict, the opinions of students from different schools on the topic of new drugs in front of audience. We want to hear their thoughts on the growing presence of new drugs among young people. We organize various youth competitions called Sports Against Drugs and more. It's very important to emphasize that all activities we undertake are exclusively directed to individual because if the individual is responsible himself, we can expect him to be responsible to society as a whole. To be short, what I want to say in the end is that only together we can do more with one systematic non-campaign prevention. And of course, what I always say, prevention has not limits. For all other questions and cooperation in any form of prevention among young people, as well as to help expand your projects to the area of Dubrovnik-Neretva County, you can contact Ms. Miroslava Ražanković from the meeting community Zajednica Susret. Thank you once again for this time. Thank you for existing and for everything you do through your work to have less young generation lost as possible. Greetings to all.